Hello, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. It depends on the part of the world that you are. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
And
good afternoon, Maria.
ciao, good afternoon. Ciao, Tesfaye, ciao.
Ciao.
Good to see you again. Good to talk to you again. Okay. So, guys, if you feel like you can turn on your camera, so it will be easier to interact with you today. So, welcome to this first Open Day webinar of this year, dedicated to the master's program and the professional tools. Before starting, I would like to inform you that the webinar will be recorded. So if you cannot stay with us until the end of the webinar, you can always catch up on the recorded version that will be available on our website, together with all the information that you can find. My name is Maria Benotti, and the Master Coordinator, and I'm delighted to be with you today. Over the coming weeks, I will be available to answer any question that you may have about the program, the application process. And of course, you can always reach out to me by sending an email to the email address of the Master Secretariat. I will also drop you in the chat my email contact, of course. Okay, today we will be discussing a key aspect of our teaching program, the one that focuses most on the professional skills. We will be talking about the design of a development project, and we will be explore the topic in depth with our two guests, Marco Missaglia, which is the director of the master program. Thanks for being with us and welcome. And Ivan Toscano, EU Project Desk Officer at VIS. Welcome and thanks for being with us. And Ivan is also a lecturer of the program. Before we step into this discussion, this conversation, I would like to, first of all, remind you all that the call for applications to participate in the forthcoming edition is now open, and you can submit your applications by June 30. Okay, be ready to apply and not waste time. And also, we will leave some space at the end of our conversation for any questions and curiosities. But if you prefer, you can also drop them into the chat. I will be collecting some questions and try to get you some feedback by the end of the webinar. So let's start it. I give the floor to Marco Missaglia, the director of the Master, for a general overview and introduction of the Masters in Cooperation and Development. Please, Marco. We cannot hear you. You can.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. So thank you very much, Maria, and welcome everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. So my role today is to give a general introduction on the program, on the structure of the program, and I would say also on the philosophy of the program. And I would start exactly from here. We joined the 30th edition of this master program. So we started 30 years ago. And the way we started is important to understand the philosophical approach of this master in cooperation and development. We started together the University of Pavia and a set of important Italian NGOs. So this is not really a kind of professional courses organized by NGOs, and this is not really a traditional master course organized by a university. It's both things from the very beginning. Okay, we started together and we are still together after 30 years. That's really very important because we designed together the structure of the program. And this dual nature, the academic part of the story and the professional part of the story, are still there together and they affect the way the program is organized. First of all, I would say that this is evident in the fact that there will be 8 months to be spent in Pavia, having classes, and then from 3 to 6 months to be spent doing a very important internship. So this idea of classes plus long and relevant internship with international organizations, NGOs, etc., reveals what I was mentioning before, the dual nature of this program. I would add that also if you look at the contents of what is taught during the year, you can also realize this dual nature. Indeed, there are more traditional courses like economics, development economics, some aspects of the history of development, etc., etc. So some traditional academic courses, and taught by university professors, coupled with courses in the field of professional skills, okay, taught by experts coming from NGOs and international organizations. Once again, the dual nature. So the dual nature is really the common denominator of this master program. And at the end of the day, I'm quite convinced that this dual nature comes from the uh, from the two questions we have in mind: why and how. So why is it that we have so many and in sometimes increasing inequalities around the world, and how can we do something, okay, to soften this tremendous burden? So the why and the how correspond to the roles played in this common adventure by the academic part of the story and the civil society and NGOs part of the story. So I want to stress a lot this aspect because I'm quite convinced this is quite unique. This is the truly original nature of this program compared to other programs you may find around the world, so to speak. Let me add that on top of the disciplines I was mentioning, so the academic disciplines and the professional disciplines, there is also a set of seminars, okay? And the difference with the traditional disciplines is simple. In economics, history of development, etc., you'll have to make an examination. Same for project cycle management, and so the different phases of the project cycle. Again, there is an examination. However, you won't have examination for the seminars, okay? Yet they are extremely important. Even if there is not an examination for the seminars, they're important because they usually refer to the so-called hot topics. Okay, so what's really going around in the world? Okay, that's why we want to maintain this seminar part of the program. Let me add again that last year and next year, so potentially you are interested, we managed to benefit from a generous support of the Italian Agency for Cooperation and Development, meaning that we will be able to fully support 9 students from abroad, okay, not just from abroad, from what the World Bank defines lower and middle income countries. Okay, so 9 students will receive a full scholarship, meaning that they won't have to pay the fees, they won't have to pay for accommodation. It's really a full scholarship. On top of this, usually we dispose of some other lighter, so to speak, forms of support. It could be that some of you will get, for instance, the possibility to pay only half the usual amount of fees. Okay, and all in all, uh, usually around 50% of students are one way or the other supported. I do insist, next year we will have again, thanks to this support from the Italian government, the possibility to pay this generous and full scholarship. So try to get this opportunity because it's really quite unique. Last but not least, let me tell you that the internship phase of this program is extremely important and is given a lot of importance. First of all, it's mandatory, okay? Second, again, over the last 5 or 6 years, we were able to support significantly the students going abroad for an internship, okay, with a monthly amount going from 500 to 700 euros, which is not a salary, of course. However, it's a very significant support, even taking into consideration the fact in most cases prices in the locations of the internships are not that high. So it's a quite relevant further support on top of the scholarships I was mentioning before. The internship is key for your professional future, okay? Which does not mean that you'll get a job with the same organization for which you're doing an internship, okay? That's quite rare. No, the internship is extremely important because it's a unique opportunity to get in touch with a lot of relevant people, okay, and to learn on the field, okay, some important aspects of the different skills needed to work in the cooperation field. So I think these are the basic fundamental features of our program. I don't know whether I forgot something, and in any case, I'm here to answer your questions. If you have some questions or comments, it will be a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco, for this general introduction. And now we want to step into this conversation and go in depth with the professional part of the program, that is to say the project design module, which lasts 2 months with full-time classes here in Pavia. And includes different aspects of the project management. So I asked Ivan Toscano, who is a leading teacher of this module now since many years now, to go in depth and give an overview of the project cycle management module. Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you, Maria, and good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be every year. Well, we can say it's the, I think, 15th edition that, personally speaking, I'm here with you. So it's really my pleasure, and I really would like to introduce you to this model, which is, by the way, the result of a lot of work that year by year, a lot of development work year by year, based on the students' feedback, we will be able to further develop. So now it's maybe the most wide and important technical professional part, when you will be learning all the phases, all the steps through which a professional, the project manager and the project designer, step by step will pass from the identification of a relevant project idea to the definition and development of a project and submission to getting funds and putting into practices. So it's the core part of our work. And in this module, you will be learning according to this dual modality, blended modality that Marco recalled in the presentation, both theoretically and practically, step by step, all the small tasks that you will be experimenting in your future professional. So the project cycle management basically deals with all the technical tools, methodologies, and processes through which a professional organization will define, together with the partners, together with the stakeholders, together with a participatory approach, which are the needs in a certain territory that needs to be tackled through a project intervention. it will help you out to identify moving from this needs analysis, which is the most realistic, concrete, and impactful project strategy, which you will may put into operation together with your partner in order to tackle these needs in a change mentality, so to produce a real change and impact on the situation that you identified. So it's rather technical, and it's also a matter of getting a toolbox that you can put in practices in your real life and your real profession. This is the real differences. So step by step, you will pass through the analysis, through a first analysis of a guidelines for proposal. Then you will be guided throughout the development of a coherent and consistent need analysis. Basing on this need analysis, you will be working in group to identify coherent strategies, objectives, and according to the newest approaches of the international and European donors, the results chains approach, you will be identifying the core elements of your project. Once you work like this, you will be sure that your project will be coherent, consistent, and really leading to a change. So again, this is the steps through which you will go from a project identification to an activity implementation. And believe me, this is the core part that you have to do that you will be doing in your real working environment to produce a real change in your work. What changes in the last years is that in the 80s, in the 90s, there were a lot of volunteers and international staff that were trying to do this project. Now cooperation is really higher in this topic. The donor expect coherent and quality-based work because they're really asking for a change to be produced. It's no more the time to get in funds through hundreds of projects, that small one that at the end of the project, nothing has been changed and the real impact has not been produced. So donors are demanding. Now professionals are getting to manage and detain quality-based tools and competencies, which are higher level. So that's why masters like this are really key for your professional career. But this is not enough. So personally speaking, I work to, I've been lecturing and teaching in this master's since 15 years, but believe me, this is not the only master program at university I work with. I can honestly say that the added value of this master program in Pavia is unique. So why is that unique? Because there are also other master programs that teach you how to develop projects, how to endorse and develop your skills in project cycle management. But there are really few or none of them that can merge like this one. I can say also not being in the University of Pavia, so I'm an external lecturer, so I'm objective in saying this, that this is the unique one which is able to merge this dual approach. So it will be provide you with the highest technical and theoretical knowledge, also according the most advanced quality framework developed at the international level. As an example, next year we will be also introducing some elements on how to best use and mainstream artificial intelligence tools, frameworks, and processes into your project writing, but not to write the project on yourself, but to enhance the quality of your work. So we will provide both theoretical and technical skills at the highest level. That's why a master program is for. But this is, I think, the unique opportunity you may have to also have the opportunities to put these theoretical skills in practices. How that? You will be half of the lectures will be structured as a co-working environments where the lecturer, myself, and you working as colleague, you will work on real case study. So you will be first given to theoretical framework and tools, then you will be given best practices and lessons learned from concrete VIS projects. Then the third part, which is half of the weight of the master hours, lecture hours, will be dedicated to co-working groups. So each of the single topic, you will be able to work with me in small groups on real project examples through the whole chain, from A to Z, putting in practice is the theoretical skills, abilities, and competencies and tools that you will be given in the first part to put it in practice on a real concrete work. So you will be able not only to experiment and put in practice the theories and tools that you will be given, but you also will be able, together with me as a let's say peer, as a colleague, you will be able also to build up your own scaffolders, your own toolkits of professional tools for project management. And believe me, I do this work since more than 20 years now. This makes the difference in your future professional work life. So theoretical framework and skills may stay at the higher level, but it may be not given the possibility to ground it on concrete project samples. Here, first to these advanced co-working environments, then through the internships, you will be able really to build up your professional career, and you will be having an added value in comparison with your colleagues. Of course, we are glad to do this to provide you with the highest preparation. So it's our interest, and again, it's based on the feedback that we received from students year by year, which allowed us to bring continuous improvements to this module. But it's also because as a NGOs, as a VIS, we are dedicating this time to you as a students now working in a co-working environments, because in the next years you will be our colleagues. This is a matter of fact. VIS, human resources, 80% comes from this master program. So we dedicated all this time, and we are, glad to offer you internships, quality-based internship, to work with you since the very beginning, not only in theory, but on concrete projects. So on the projects that we are really working on in our daily work, not only because we are into the master program as a lecturer since the very beginning, but also because we are building the professional profiles of our future. So I'm a consultant, actually. So I work with the VIS expatriated staff, project managers, and human resources coming from this masters since 15 years. So actually, it's also my interest to work with you since the very beginning, and as a colleague more than as students. And believe me, this makes the difference. You will be immediately noticed during the internship. You will be having already your scaffolder of tools, which do not stay on theory, goes deeply in the practice. Okay, so I think this is really the added value of this master program. And again, I'm saying objectively, and I really look forward to having you next year together in my classes. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ivan. Thanks really much for this passionate description of this module. Now, guys, it's time for you to raise your hands and interact or drop in your questions into the chat, or just raise your hands and just make the questions to the speakers, and just feel free to ask whatever you need to know about the program, about the internship. So I would focus more on the program, on the teaching program, because we will have time to focus on the internship program on our next webinar that will be on May 28th. I will send you all the information through the chat for our next appointment. But really, if you want to just go in depth in the teaching program, and if you have any curiosities, there's room for you. I see Minh Nguyen. I'm sorry for my pronunciation, but if you can raise your hand, you can go ahead.
Yes, yeah, you can call me Minh. So
Okay.
yeah, so firstly, I thank you very much for the insightful presentation. And yeah, I'm Nhật Minh from Vietnam. Yes, and I Currently, I work at the Vietnam Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in Ho Chi Minh City. This belong to the Ho Chi Minh City People Committee. And yes, I was particularly interested in what a professor described as the dual nature of the program. Yeah, this is combining the traditional academic course such as development economic with professional skills taught by a practitioner from NGOs and international organizations. And also I'm very impressed with Mr. Toscano points about the program ability to merge theoretically and technical knowledge. So including the project cycle management, quality framework, and even like the use of AI tools. Yeah, this is really impressive. And I also have a question. So as I mentioned before, I currently work at the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in Ho Chi Minh City. So where I support cooperation between Ho Chi Minh City and the World Economic Forum. Particularly, we work on smart manufacturing and responsible industrial transformation. But in this work, I often see a gap between the global framework and local implementation capacity. Like, for example, many Vietnamese SMEs still face limited technological absorptive capacity, or why initiative related to data and technology require careful institutional coordination and project governance. So my question is, how's the master help students move from understanding the why of global inequalities and development challenge to the how of designing and implementing cooperation projects that are realistic for local context like Ho Chi Minh City now? And one more question about the internship. That is, and during the internship, how are students supported in translating academic knowledge into practical solution with NGOs or international organization or public institution? Yeah, I know that my question is quite long, but I hope that you can know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question, Min. First of all, I mean, you come from Vietnam and you are a physical proof of how interesting is the issue of development. I mean, I noticed from the very beginning of this webinar the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. That's extremely interesting. Okay, so now development is essentially an Asian story, and the name of the center you are working with is a clear proof of how interesting is this issue. Anyway, let me answer your question. Your first question was how is it possible to, let me summarize. How is it possible to connect the why and the how? Well, it really depends on the specific topic at hand. However, let me give you a concrete example. Okay. During the why phase, let me express myself this way, and starting from a couple of years ago, we are putting quite a lot of efforts and quite a lot of weight to statistical tools, meaning that in the why phase, you learn quite a lot of statistical theory. So I don't know the different properties of the different statistical distributions, some theorems, etc., etc. You'll learn a bit of the theory of the so-called randomized controlled trials. Okay, and this kind of stuff will be taught by a university professor, by a statistician. Okay, then when you'll move to the project cycle phase, when will you see the professionals, etc., etc., there are a couple of teachers, Manolo Cabran and Oliver Yuter-Sonke, who will work with you, and here I'm re-emphasizing what Ivan was already emphasizing, the co-working, okay? Well, both teachers, Manolo Cabran and Oliver Utersonke, will work on concrete cases of randomized controlled trials, okay, where you'll have to apply the statistical theoretical tools you learned during the first phase of the project to some specific case study. Okay, that's a way of trying to merge the why and the how. Okay, and I think that that's really the value added provided by this master program. And this is just one example. Okay, that said, and let me move to the second part of your question. A master program, even a very practically oriented master program like ours, is never enough to learn all the billions of skills and details which are needed on the field. Okay? And that's why the internship is fundamental. Okay? Because classes in themselves will never be enough. And during the internship, it's not just a matter of applying what you learned in the classes. No, it's also, and maybe mainly, a matter of learning further new things. Given the fact that I mean, I wouldn't be honest should I tell you you learn whatever is needed during the 8 months of classes in Pavia. That's not the way. That wouldn't be correct. Okay, so I don't know whether I managed to answer your question.
Yeah, yes, thank you so much, Professor. I totally agree with you that this century is the Asia. Yeah, my center, the Vietnam Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We mostly work in just the new immersion technology. We do a research into how we can help Vietnam as a developing countries can absorb the new technology, the new ways to develop. Especially, yeah, currently we located in Ho Chi Minh City, one of the mega city. We oriented to be a mega city in not only Vietnam, but also in Southeast Asia as well. Yeah, and during the time I work with the World Economic Forum, I realized that yes, besides of the positive thing that we can learn from them, there are still many like disadvantage thing for us. For example, yeah, we work within the smart manufacturing, but currently we work with the Lighthouse OS initiative from WEF, World Economic Forum. But when we apply it into the situation of Vietnam, it's really hard for us to implement this project because there's many things that our SMEs, because 90% of the company in Vietnam is SME, so that's why we apply the tools from world standard, but when applied to our situation. And when we run this project, we face many challenges. So that's why I would like to persuade this master program to help me have more opportunity to know how to run a project well, and yes, how I can apply the knowledge, the theoretical, into practical situation in our country, developing country like Vietnam. So thank you so much for your answer.
I can also add a further element. So maybe to just another example or to go into the details about the project cycle management module I will be dealing with. So I think that the really key to pass from the general framework to the local and to be able to also answer to needs and to change the reality at local level is to work into two different directions, which both of them are in this master program. So the first one is the internationalization, so the international framework. The second one is the working in a multi-actor environment. I'll make you two different examples. So first of all, in the master program, in order to understand the reality of working in, whether you are in South Asia, whether you are in Vietnam, whether you are in the city environment or in a countryside, you have to understand who the players are. So that's why a first part of the theoretical approach, if it's given, with the highest international standard is what you need to understand the reality, to understand who are the players, to understand which are the needs and which are the bottlenecks. So let's take as an example project cycle management. You will be given tools like the system analysis, which is an analysis which works to understand at system level who are the players, which are the bottlenecks, how to intervene and change the realities. And you can apply this at both at general level and going into the realities, because in the second part, both of all the projects you will be having the chance to put in practice to are projects which move from international and goes at local. But in order to do this, you have to understand the framework and the player. So that's why in the first part of the module, you will be given to the general framework of the international cooperation. And the important thing is that this framework is given by international players, which are not European only mainly, which are not mainly Italian. So that giving you the tools that you will need to tailor and to understand the reality wherever it will be in the next 5 years. So not now, not in the past, but also in the future. And it's important whether you are you are really a megalopoly like Ho Chi Minh or like in a countryside, because it's based on a system analysis. Then to build your own scaffolders, you will be needing some tools again which are higher international standards, but you will be needed to apply also at local level. And again, the important here is that the tools are given by international experts, but also that works in a multi-actor environment. Just to come into your example, you work in an industrial field as MSCs. So when you develop projects, you will be working through an action plan and through a description of an action from the 90% of the cases. You will be an application form that will be asking you to describe the activities. But there are most of the newest programs for enterprises that ask you to work in a different way, that ask you to work not per activities, but per workflows, per work packages, working on deliverables rather than on activities. So again, the importance of participating to this master program is that in the theoretical framework given by international experts, you will be taught not only provided not only with tools needed to work in the international cooperation for development, you will be also fitted with tools and equipment to work in your future career, whether it will be in international cooperation or in the industrial manufacturing. Because as an example, in my course, we will be learning how to develop activities, plan law activities, but also how to work according to the work package framework on deliverables, which is really industrial related methodologies. I think these two, internationalization, general framework before coming to practical tools from general to local, and multi-actor perspective, is, I think, the key to smoothly pass from the why to the how.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you so much. Ismail, thanks for your questions into the chat. I think that Ivan has almost answered to these questions, whether you would be prepared in working in NGOs or as well as public or private organizations. So I think that Ivan mostly answered to these questions, but if not, please, you are free to reach out. Okay, okay, Julia, you can also directly speak up and do your questions.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi everyone, thanks. I had some practical question as I wrote on the chat. I was wondering, like, how will the classes be held? Like every day, during the week, every day, or just some days? Just because I'm living like close to Milan, to Pavia, but I was wondering if it's better to live in Pavia for the classes, or it's good also to come by train or not. And also related to the opportunity, because I read that a participant last year attended some classes in Tunisia, if I didn't get wrong, no? And I was wondering, because I'm really interested in the migration field, and I wrote that in Tunisia it will be related to migration. And the last one is related to the interview, because now I'm living abroad and I'm gonna live abroad until September. So I was wondering if it's possible to have the interview online, or if I have to come back, because it would be difficult for me. So, and that's all. So thank you for the presentation. It was super interesting.
Thank you, Giulia. Marco, I think this is for you. You want me to help out, or this is for you?
Okay. Well, for you too, Maria, you could have answered this question. Anyway, I'm ready. So, classes are quite intensive. So basically, it's almost every day of the week. Okay. It could happen that in some week you have some days without any class, but that this is not the rule. Usually, you'll have classes every day. That's the large majority of weeks. Second question, yes, the experience in the exchange with the Tunisian master program will be repeated next year. So there will be the possibility to apply for this exchange. One student from Pavia will move to Tunis for 2 or 3 months, and vice versa. One student from Tunis will come to Pavia. And as to the interviews, do not worry, there is the possibility to make the interview online. These were the 3 questions. Am I right? Or some other ones? Maybe I'm forgetting something.
No, it's everything. Thank you so much.
Okay, fine.
Yes, I would add that no need to say. Of course, we can have the interview online, and also before the deadline. So if you have specific needs related to the job you are doing now, I think you are in Tunisia now. This is absolutely fine and possible.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so 1:45, we will come to an end of this webinar. Of course, if you have any curiosities, any questions or doubts, you can always reach out to me by email, of course. And Federica, I see that maybe you have a question.
Yeah, hi. I wanted to ask a question, but you said it was toward the end of the seminar, so I can also ask by email. If it's a
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So thank you for the presentation. Again, as everyone has already said, it was very interesting. It was super deep dive. So I don't have that many course questions, let's say, because most of the students also made super interesting questions and were all solidly answered. I have more of a personal, let's say, question, such as Giulia about bureaucratics, let's say. So from my point of view, also towards the internship, coming from one person who already has a solid professional experience, especially in communication, but related in the product fields and economic fields, whether it is possible through this course and at the end of this master. I do understand that the internship is mandatory, but how it is, does the master give you the possibility to directly search for a contract and a job rather than an internship, and get that job passed as the internship program to be valid for the master itself, of course? And also about the program described by Ivan Toscano, which is super interesting. I am, let's say, not worried, but I wanted to ask a question actually on how the seminar hot topics, which were mentioned, are gonna be relevant to projects to lessons such as the one on project cycle management, as to say, providing us not only with the theoretical tools, but also if this master's aims to transform the theoretical part of the course into kind of a fieldwork projects within these hot topics, which will be handled during the seminars, of course. And also I was curious about the reading list, which is mentioned in the syllabus on each, at the end, let's say, or within each module. And it actually mentions how each student will be provided with a reading list according to their background and also according to their interests. And also the possibility through this reading list to bring on, let's say, works, thesis works and dissertations we might have already initiated during our previous studies, let's say. So that's it. So if the dissertation has to be related to the internship, if the dissertation can be a mean to develop the work we have already begun during our previous bachelor and master studies, and how can these things be combined?
Okay, thank you, Federica. Such a question. So it's good to
yeah, that was a lot. I'm sorry.
Maybe Maria, since I have to accompany a professor of ours to the class, I will only answer the last question of the 25 questions Federica just asked.
I'm sorry.
And so let me concentrate on the very last one. The dissertation, I mean, there is no obligation to relate the dissertation to the internship. That said, 99% of the dissertations are related to the internship. So you don't have to think to this dissertation as a traditional academic dissertation. Okay, in most cases, and by most I mean 99%, it's really related to the field experience, which does not mean it's a simple report on the field experience. It's a reflection on the field experience. That's so a critical description, if you want, of the internship. That said, there is the possibility for those who are interested, okay, to go in a different direction and prepare a standard academic dissertation. But according to my experience, I would say that this is extremely rare, okay? We had some cases, and these cases are absolutely welcome, no problem at all. However, that's not the standard approach of those interested in this master program. And I have to apologize because we have a guest professor and he's a bit lost with the rooms. So I have to help him. And thank you very much for having attended this webinar. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you again. Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks a
Marco.
lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much for spending time.
Thank you. So, Federica, I would also like to add that, of course, you will be provided as master students with the list of internship proposals shared by our partner organizations, for example, VIS, CISP, COPY, and other partners that you can also find on the website. Of course, these are meant to be internship proposals that are thought and in a certain sense also tailored on your profile, on your interests as much as possible, of course, as much as the geopolitical situation is now allowing us to do that. And also throughout the whole course of the master program, you will be accompanied with an internship tutor whose aims is just to align the internship proposals with your profiles and expectations, and also giving this match between the organizations and you students to sort out with the most beautiful, most interesting internship proposals that are now available. So it's a half-half, but of course still, as you, I think, you, Federica, you are already working in the sector as a communication expert in some sort of organizations, of course, you can propose us to get a convention, an internship agreement with the organization you are already working for, because our aim is to get the student prepared for a job. And also your job that you are now doing and already doing in your organization can be valid as an internship experience. So we can evaluate your organization you are working for as a partner for having your internship with this organization. So it's absolutely possible to evaluate your current job as an internship valid also for the career of the master's program. I trust that maybe we have answered your questions. I don't know if
maybe maybe it's the last
something.
part of the on the workshop. So Federica, if I got your question, if I get your questions, you're wondering how in practice we can move from theory to put in practice each single tool. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, exactly. I was asking this because most of the courses I've had in project management, the courses, of course, so they always tend to provide us with theoretical tools, mathematics, statistics, and such, but we never really had the chance, if so in some rare editions, to actually put our hands in work, which is what I am searching for now. Okay. So
yeah, I perfectly agree. So this is, I guess this is the added value of this master program. So of course you will be provided with a solid theoretical framework, but especially in the more technical part of the master program, like the project cycle management, the lessons are structured. My lessons are structured to replicate exactly what happens in a real working environment. So to be clear, to be more specific, each single exercise and workshop is organized to simulate exactly what happens inside the organizational, inside an NGO or international organization when they have to deal with project development. So to give you a concrete example, if we are moving to define the logical framework of an intervention, which is the strategy to identify results, objective, and actions of your project, basing on the needs analysis that you've done, we're first doing in a theoretical way, presenting the tools. Second level, we are presenting best practices developed in real working environment by the IS you can analyze and get inspiration from. Third level, we will be having together a workshop where I will be working with each single group like a peer, discussing and brainstorming like exactly in the same way that happens inside VIS when we have to do the work. So this would be the first concrete workshop where you will be having the opportunity to put in practices. Then fourth and final level, for each topic, you will be having the chance to work on your own in group on a concrete project, and you will be developing from A to Z by your own. So through this fourth level that we will approach each single topic of the project cycle management, each single phases, you will be having the chance to really move concretely from guided but moving also on your own from theory to practices. So the first practice workshop is guided and is, let's call it, semi-structured. It's exactly made up to simulate what happens in the real working environments. And at the end, you will be having the chance to, again, work on your project from A to Z to replicate. And I will be, of course, validating and brainstorming with you, but you will be alone in group. Of course, the fifth level is the internship. In the internship, not only you will be having, as Marco said, the possibility to again practice on what you already learned, but you will be having also the chance to develop your professional profiles, because it's actually based on learning outcomes which replicate the professional, say, skills and responsibilities that you may have. So these are the five steps. But again, believe me, it's we also have the chance, and I'm the one who are really every year glad to offer this opportunity to those who ask. Maria knows. So for the students who would like to continue working and practicing on the project cycle management, I also offer the opportunity to go on further outside the master program, one by one or in small group, for those who would like to continue getting practice on the project cycle management. But again, this full month of project cycle lessons that we will have inside the master program, it will be more than enough to really put your hands on the ground on the project cycle management, if it's the English form. So I don't know if I answered to your question.
Yes, fully. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ivan, and thanks to all the participants. Thank you, Federica, for your questions, and all the participants who made questions. And of course, see you all soon. I hope that you will join us for our next webinar set on May 28th. It will be a webinar on internship and career orientation. So we will be focusing on the internship program and the career orientation within the master program, and we will do that with some former students of the program. We will talk with them. We will listen to their experiences. So yes, we are available, and thanks to you all, and we will be sending you all the invitation to our next webinar. Thanks a lot.
Maria, sorry.
See?
Yeah, I will send my question about the application process and all the situation here to you, directly to you. But now I just want to thank Mr. Professor Marco and Ivan for their clear and insightful explanation, and as well you for your continued support. Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Decacho. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye. See you
Thank
all.
you. Bye.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.